Alright, let's go. Number 10. The Cosmic Jellyfish. In 1996, astronauts aboard the Space Shuttle Columbia witnessed something that should not exist in the vacuum of space. During a routine observation period, several crew members reported luminous, translucent formations drifting just outside their viewport, pulsing rhythmically and extending tendrils of light that seemed to propel them through low Earth orbit. NASA officially attributed the sightings to ice crystals catching sunlight or reflections from the shuttle's exterior, an explanation grounded in known optical physics and the strange behavior of particles in microgravity. Yet similar reports have surfaced across multiple missions and decades, often describing the same bioluminescent-like pulsing and coordinated directional changes. Unlike debris, which follows predictable orbital mechanics, these formations appeared to shift course without any visible external force. Scientists have proposed exotic plasma structures formed by charged particles interacting with spacecraft electromagnetic fields. Still, the persistent biological resemblance raises a quiet question: when organized energy begins to mimic life, are we observing illusion, or confronting the limits of our understanding? Number 9. The Phantom Space Station. In March 1991, cosmonauts aboard the Mir space station reported something impossible: another massive structure in orbit, visible roughly 2 kilometers away, maintaining position relative to Mir before slowly fading from view. The object was described as a translucent outline, similar in size to a space station. The incident was logged and later dismissed as an optical illusion caused by unusual lighting conditions in orbit. However, between 1995 and 2001, four separate Mir crews reported nearly identical sightings at approximately the same distance. More troubling, several of these events coincided with unexplained communication disruptions and instrument anomalies after Mir was deorbited. A similar observation was reported during a 2006 EVA from the ISS. Official explanations point to reflections from solar panels, atmospheric distortions, or pareidolia, the human tendency to perceive patterns in ambiguous stimuli. Yet the consistency across decades, spacecraft, and independent observers raises a difficult question. In the most monitored environment humanity has ever built, how certain are we that what we see is truly all that is there? Number 8. Orbital light clusters. In 2005, astronauts aboard the International Space Station observed a cluster of lights over the South Pacific that defied conventional explanation. Unlike the scattered glow of cities or fishing vessels, these lights arranged themselves into precise geometric formations, triangles, squares, even perfect circles, before rapidly dispersing. The event lasted approximately 76 seconds and was captured by multiple onboard cameras. NASA later suggested the lights were likely fishing boats using powerful lamps to attract squid. However, subsequent analysis indicated acceleration and reconfiguration speeds exceeding 500 miles per hour, far beyond the capabilities of ocean vessels. Similar formations were documented on multiple ISS missions and shuttle flights. Some researchers propose rare plasma phenomena or unusual atmospheric electricity, while others speculate about advanced drone swarms, though such technology did not exist during the earliest sightings. What remains unresolved is not only the coordinated movement, but the apparent precision. If natural, what physical process organizes light into geometry with such exactness? Number 7. The Whispering Stars. In March 2009, during a routine spacewalk outside the International Space Station, an astronaut reported hearing something unexpected through his communication system: whispers and rhythmic pulses on a frequency that should have been silent. The transmission lasted approximately 12 minutes before fading, distinct from normal mission control traffic or satellite interference. Communication specialists were unable to identify a terrestrial source. Between 2009 and 2017, similar anomalies were reported during 14 separate EVA missions. The signals often began with pulse sequences resembling prime number patterns, followed by modulated tones that several astronauts described as almost speech-like. Radio astronomers later noted correlations between the shifting frequencies and certain radiation bursts from distant neutron stars. Official explanations focus on interactions between Earth's magnetosphere and charged solar particles producing unusual radio artifacts. Yet this does not fully explain the mathematical structure of the signals or why they appear most clearly during spacewalks. If the universe emits patterns, how certain are we that we recognize them correctly? Number 6. The orbital shadow. In November 2014, astronauts aboard the International Space Station reported witnessing an enormous shadow moving across Earth's surface below. Unlike the documented shadow cast by the ISS itself, this darkened region was vastly larger, estimated at nearly 75 miles in diameter, and moved against the expected trajectory of known satellites. Most disturbing was its perfect circular shape, maintaining consistent dimensions as it crossed both ocean and land. NASA initially suggested it could be the shadow of an unknown high-altitude object or an unusual atmospheric phenomenon, yet weather satellite data revealed no structure large enough to produce such an effect. Between 2014 and 2021, similar shadows were reported 5 times.
each sharing the same geometric precision and anomalous movement. During one event, instruments detected a brief fluctuation in Earth's magnetic field directly beneath the path. If this was not a conventional shadow, what exactly was blocking the light?
Number 5. The Space Spiders. In February 2011, astronauts conducting routine maintenance on the exterior of the International Space Station discovered delicate web-like structures forming along handrails and equipment panels. These crystalline formations resembled intricate spider webs, with thin filaments extending outward from central nodes in precise geometric patterns. What made the discovery unsettling was that the structures had not been present during an EVA just 14 days earlier. NASA and Roscosmos initially attributed them to crystallized coolant or water vapor escaping into microgravity. However, laboratory simulations failed to reproduce anything with comparable structural complexity. Samples analyzed inside the station revealed silicon compounds with carbon traces arranged in configurations inconsistent with known crystallization processes. Between 2011 and 2018, similar formations appeared 8 times, often during periods of heightened solar activity. Most puzzling was their apparent ability to repair damage within hours. If microgravity can guide matter into such organized patterns, how different is that process from the earliest steps of life itself? Number 4. Cosmic lightning. In August 2015, astronauts aboard the International Space Station observed massive electrical discharges erupting from thunderstorm systems over Central Africa, not downward toward Earth, but upward into space. These luminous blue columns extended far beyond the documented range of sprites and jets, persisting for nearly 2 minutes instead of milliseconds. Instruments recorded electromagnetic surges far stronger than typical atmospheric lightning. What unsettled researchers most was their structure. The energy columns appeared to branch and reconnect in patterns resembling neural networks rather than random discharge. Between 2015 and 2023, similar events were documented 13 times, always above the most intense storm systems. During one observation, particles within these columns appeared to accelerate at extreme velocities rarely associated with Earth's upper atmosphere. Scientists propose advanced plasma dynamics or temporary magnetic disturbances as possible explanations. Yet the scale and organization suggest Earth's electrical relationship with space may be more complex than current atmospheric models predict. Number 3. The Phantom Cosmonauts. In December 1973, during the Skylab 3 mission, Commander Gerald Carr reported seeing a humanoid figure floating outside the spacecraft window without a spacesuit, suspended in orbit. The figure vanished before it could be photographed. NASA later attributed the sighting to fatigue and the psychological strain of long-duration spaceflight. Yet similar reports surfaced across decades. In 1984, 6 cosmonauts aboard Salyut 7 described luminous, human-like figures outside their station, all witnesses confirming the same vision. During later shuttle and ISS missions, astronauts independently reported sensing an additional presence inside the vehicle during night cycles. Approximately 27% of long-duration space travelers have reported variations of this phenomenon. Researchers point to cosmic radiation affecting the temporal lobe, circadian rhythm disruption, and sensory isolation altering perception. Brain imaging studies show measurable neural changes after extended time in orbit. The question is not whether space contains apparitions, but how profoundly space reshapes human consciousness. Number 2. The Living Cloud. In September 2016, astronauts aboard the International Space Station observed an enormous circular cloud formation over the South Pacific behaving in ways that challenged atmospheric science, spanning roughly 200 miles in diameter. The structure moved directly against prevailing high-altitude winds while maintaining its cohesion. Unlike typical weather systems shaped by temperature gradients and Coriolis forces, this formation preserved a near-perfect circular boundary. As the ISS passed overhead, the cloud reorganized into a spiral pattern that appeared to track the station's trajectory. High-resolution imaging revealed smaller vortices within it rotating in synchronized motion, patterns meteorologists described as mathematically improbable for natural cloud dynamics. Between 2016 and 2024, similar formations were recorded 11 times, often accompanied by unusual electromagnetic readings within the structure. Scientists propose complex plasma interactions or emergent atmospheric behavior driven by oceanic microbiomes. Yet the apparent responsiveness to observation remains difficult to explain. Number 1. The Cosmic Void. In February 2012, during a routine spacewalk outside the International Space Station, 2 astronauts reported entering a region where multiple instruments simultaneously malfunctioned. Communications briefly failed, and for approximately 94 seconds, both individuals described experiencing severe temporal distortion. What felt like nearly 20 minutes passed, while mission control recorded less than 2. Upon returning inside, they described the area not simply as darker space, but as an absence of depth itself. a region where distance seemed to collapse. More troubling were the psychological effects. Both reported an intense sensation of being observed within that void. Between 2012 and 2023, 5 similar incidents were documented during separate EVAs. Each involved instrument anomalies, disrupted signals, and lingering perceptual disturbances. Theoretical explanations range from localized spacetime fluctuations to quantum field irregularities. Yet if space can briefly alter perception, time, and instrumentation at once, it suggests reality in orbit may be less uniform than we assume. Space doesn't have to be hostile to be unsettling. Sometimes the most disturbing part is how much we still don't understand. If this exploration of the unknown sparked your curiosity, like the video and subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries of our universe.